Right, okay, here's my modified torque injection quantity conversion map. And why did I want to change it? Well, of course, I wanted to change it because here I've got my smoke map, which is in injection quantity, and then here I've got torque map, which is in torque, and I want to connect the two. In other words, I want to compare them, but I can't because the numbers don't make sense. So what I'm going to do is, rather than reset everything and try and make everything torque or everything injection quantity, I'm just going to use my new map here to roughly change the torque map. So here's the modified torque map. You can see I haven't even bothered to change it at all, because all I'm really interested in is what's going on somewhere around here, because these are the bits that are going to make a difference to the values that I've already changed. And I haven't done any maths on this at all. In other words, what I've done is I've looked at 396, and I've said to myself 396 somewhere over here, and I've looked for a value. So it's as simple as that. I've just looked on here for a value, and I've tried to take my best guess. So I'm not trying to be very clever. Now, if you're doing this, what I suggest you do is either use some maths and calculate an accurate value, or draw a graph on graph paper or on Excel and pick out your value that way. But basically, I've taken my best guess on these for now because it's close enough for what I want. And my best guess is that what I'm looking at here is somewhere in the region of 66 milligrams, 68, 70, 73, 71, 69, 64, and so on. And as I said, as it falls, in other words, as it's rising here, it doesn't matter because I know I'm covered. And as it starts to fall back again, it doesn't matter because I know these values are higher anyway. So the only area I need to consider are the areas where the numbers are going to go up more than they did originally. And what I'm most concerned with, of course, is the maximum. So I'm most worried about what's happening with the maximum, which is the 73 that's there. So now I can go back, can't I? I can go back and I can think about my smoke map, because I've got my smoke map here, and if I go back and look at it, I can see that I haven't actually considered the possibility of a higher value, in the sense that the person who put this all together in the first place has only taken this out to somewhere in the region of 70. What have we got, say 68? So they haven't gone any further than that though, and I'm looking as if I want to go out to say 73, 74 milligrams, aren't I? So I'm looking as if I want to inject a bit more fuel than that, but that's not being allowed for on the smoke map. So what I need to do is take another look at the smoke map. So there it is again, and I need to predict a new set of values, because what I want is a new set of values for a bigger amount, a bigger injection quantity, don't I? So I need a new set of values for a bigger injection quantity. So what I've done here is exactly that. I've made up a new set of values. So I've got a new set of values there, and we're basing this on the fact that we want somewhere in the region of 452 Newton meters. So we know that we want somewhere in the region of 73, 74 grams. So we've got an idea of what sort of amount that we will be wanting this to go out to. So now I've got a new set of values that I've calculated here. Now these new values obviously again can't be just tagged on the end, because I can't simply make up a new set of values and say to myself, oh, I'll just poke those on the end and that will be okay, because as you know, we can't make the maps bigger or smaller, or that's not strictly true, because occasionally we can get away with making them bigger and smaller. Bigger's harder, smaller's a little bit easier, but generally speaking, if we put maps back into WinHoles, modified so they're the same size as they originally were, things tend not to be a problem. So ideally what I'd like is these in here. So what I've done, and this is very, very simple, again, it's nothing clever, is I have moved so that I can put that column over into here. And basically all I've done, again as I said before, is but slightly different this time, is I've shifted everything across. So in other words, what I've done is I've left this part alone. So I've left the axis data alone, but I've taken out the column for 700. So the column for 700 is now gone. And then I've moved all of this information that was over there. So in other words, I've taken all of this block, I'll highlight it for you. Look, I've taken all of that block there and I've placed it there. So I've placed it at that point. I didn't mean to delete that, so I'll just go back and do that. But so that's where I've placed it there, which of course then leaves me with a space here that's empty because it still says 2600, but it's empty. And then I've taken the numbers that I'd calculated here and I've put them in there. So what I've now got is a new map for smoke limitation, and it's now doing what I wanted to do. It's giving me that sort of peaky bit at the round here, somewhere in the region of 73, 74, something like that, 75, and that should give me the sort of torque, or allow the sort of torque that I'm considering that I want. And as I've made a note here, 74 milligrams, I'm hoping that's going to give me, or be equivalent to, about 450 newton meters. So that should be okay, because we've put the driver's wish up to not far off of 500 newton meters, and it doesn't matter what that is really, because we're not going to go towards it really. The torque limit is going to come in at somewhere around about 450, we know, and now the smoke limit is going to be fairly close to 450. Generally speaking, I like to keep the smoke limit more or less the same as the torque limit, as long as the torque limit isn't stupidly high, or maybe just a little bit underneath it. Sometimes in files you find the smoke limit is considerably under the torque limit, and that can be a bit of a problem for the amount of smoke when you do put your foot down hard on the accelerator. But so that's the way I've left that at the moment. So what we've got at that point then is we've got a new driver's wish map, a new torque limit map, and now we've got a new smoke limit map. Be nice to think that, oh, we've tuned an engine now, but of course it's nothing like that simple, because all we've done is said to the ECU, these are the new requirements. We haven't actually checked to see if those new requirements are possible. So that's the next thing we need to do. We need to find out if the new requirements that we want are actually possible. So I'll stop there.